People who are adopted, how did you find out? My adoptive mom told me when I was around 3-4 years old. Yes, I don't understand what it is at that age, but she repeatedly told me about it until I understood it as I grow up. She knew at some point some kids out there will bully me about it, so she wanted me to know and make me feel comfortable about it. And she's right, some bully kids tried to make fun of me because I'm adopted. They were surprised I knew about it and they ended up crying because of my rebuttals, haha. I was 38. My drunk cousin told me at a family wedding. Friends told me when I was 13. Turns out, I was the last to know. In the 1950s, my aunt found out at her own wedding reception. Somebody got a bit tipsy and spilled the beans. The only thing my parents got right about having an adopted child was that they told me as soon as I was old enough to comprehend it to any degree, so my first memory is finding out I'm adopted around 312. It's very frowned upon these days to wait, and considered very traumatic to find out any older. I knew since birth. My parents are white and I'm black, so it's kinda hard keeping that a secret. I always knew. My parents told me from a very early age, and checked in periodically as I got older to make sure I understood and see if I had any questions. Worked well for me. I never had any issues with it. Was about 6 when I glanced down at my skin and then looked at my parents and noticed the great difference. I'm black BTW, but as an adult even when I jokingly say you can't return me now, my parents leap in and defend me from myself. We wouldn't want to. You're wonderful. We're so happy you're our little girl. I found my social security card with the wrong last name on it when I was 13. If you adopt, please tell your adopted kids young, and don't wait for them to find out on their own. I was always aware because apparently random strangers would ask when I was young because I had different colored hair and eyes than the rest of the family, so they couldn't exactly keep it a secret. You know you're adopted, right? During a time I was struggling and was sat down for a family talk about some issue or another. Apparently I was told young, but it didn't register. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't remember, so it was a bit of a slap in the face during an already difficult time. Around 2nd grade I told my mom I wanted a brother. She told me she couldn't have babies. This led to her telling me I was adopted. I sort of suspect that I might be biologically related to my adoptive dad's side of the family, but that's another story and probably just me grasping at straws. I'm still hoping someone fesses up. It was never a secret. I'm not adopted, but my husband doesn't know anyone from his bio fam. He was in foster care and his foster parents adopted him at 16 months. But they also fostered and adopted other kids too, so he's always known. But I also just came here to say, as a wife to an adoptee, I felt like a god when I gave birth to our daughter. Because she is now the only other person he knows in this world that shares the same blood or DNA with him. Obligatory easiest scene, https://u2.btjpkmftbvq. I was told when I was young even though a closed adoption. DNA test showed nothing. I did know a last name and found her, but she had passed. Don't know birth father? 7 siblings. While I found my papers in the closet at 21 lol, no hard feelings though, nor do I really care. I'm Chinese, and my parents are Taiwanese. I would have never known unless I found them. I love my parents, they saved me from an extremely harsh peasant life in rural China. They've brought me up extremely well. I found out through a family talk. They told me my whole life. I was adopted as an infant.